of classes since we last worked on him, so my wet palette is a disaster. So we're gonna just throw a little water on it. That's a lot of water, honestly. So you don't want that much water. It's just soaking into the sponge. I'm gonna bleed some of this off into my hobo sink. Make sure the sponge isn't floating. Like if you see a lot of water in the, like, you know, when you tilt it like that, it's just too much. Now I'm gonna lay this on there. Now, your first instinct is oftentimes going to be flatten it out, and you can do that, but if you just wait a minute, it usually just works itself out pretty fast. If you're just patient, like if you just start looking for your paints while that's doing its thing, it'll mostly flatten itself out. Dark blue, I think we used this. Fucking hardly can remember. God, did we? Someone fact check me. What was our blues? Was there a third blue involved? Did we use sky blue? Maybe. Grab my paper towel. I'm gonna need one. So, oftentimes what I do, though, when I'm getting ready to do this kind of painting is I'll even go the extra step to use a paper towel to get rid of some of these wrinkles and make sure any excess moisture sitting on the top is gone. So nice, damp, cool surface. Should be hydrophobic. War Pigment, you've had a company that does Mothman. I'll say STLs. He says TS. Let me just shake up some paints. So our darkest blue that we airbrushed was definitely dark blue. I think I remember that. So put some of that down. Now, I think we used sky blue. And I think I'm running low on sky blue. I think I'm down to shampoo bottle. Let me see what I can get out of here. This one's dried up. A little sky blue. I went in for a fresh brush because I didn't want to add any unnecessary moisture to the mix. Now, we were using, I think we used this pale blue. It's my boy Talon right there. What's up, homie? Late to the ball. Hope Prince Charming still got the heater ready to go. Yeah. It's my boy Talon. What's up, homie? Coming in 41 months. Talon, I'm going to throw a little transparent black down in the cut right here. And some bold titanium white. I threw it on the ground. Sometimes I just throw bold titanium white like on the floor. I don't know why. It's like a thing. There, it's literally right here. Happens all the time. So we can go, so there's our journey right there, okay? Let's lock into the obesity cradle. Put a little squirt of water down on the palette. See how it just beads up like that? That's what I want. If it like just disperses into the Parchment, you didn't keep it dry enough. Like it needs. I want it to repel water. Just getting some of the soap off the brush. Sometimes I use a little flow improver when I'm doing this. I'll put a little up here in the top. Talon, did I see? Ooh, I just jammed my fucking brush into the desk. Did I see Marvel Juggernaut's model? Oh yeah, fucking love that dude. So let's do some pin washing, okay? What we need to do is make the dark stuff darker. And maybe even like artificially jackify them. The old scratch and jack. So let's get a little of the dark blue. That's the darkest blue we airbrush. Okay? And in these brighter regions, that's going to do most of the heavy lifting. So let's just start off with semi-opaque. Just pat dry my brush. Oh, god damn. I'm fucking ADHD right now. So we got to establish respect. So rather than just drop some black lines in there, I'm going to take the darkest blue that's already there, add a little bit of moisture, semi-opaque, a little wet. We're going to use our little synthetic brush. And what we're going to do is use the tip. And we're going to just draw these shadows in. Okay, so I'm going to use the heart pull. I'm going to rotate the model. And you see there's this quad right there. And the thing is, if you do this with just straight black or a wash, it's not going to respect the model in any capacity. So you can make mistakes right now. Because this semi-opaque dark blue, which is already in the model, is going to filter down and just maintain that relationship. So when I do like round one, where I'm allowed to make mistakes, I'm always trying to show this kind of respect. And see, we're already sharpening the image by exaggerating these obvious dark points, contrast lines. Some fabric right there. Semi-opaque and a little wet. That's the way of the wash. We're using the technique, not the product. Did you? Where the fuck is everyone this Friday? I don't know. Maybe they're watching somebody else live, doing some Thug Thizzle. Right here, heart pull. Rotate. Get that knee. Rotate. That quad. There's a little bit of a calf connection right here. Using the heart pull strategy. Now he's got some nice fabric folds right here against the knees, so we're going to just use the tip. And get those right there. Up here you see a little quad right here. And just lock it in, lock it in. Scott the Miniac is still on? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, let's get inside his chest right here. So he's got fabric folds, which are nice and classy, but man, they're in the way. So let's use the tip and just kind of stipple in here using the sewing machine stroke. Separate the pec. Let's rotate. I'm gonna move the camera because my shit's in the way. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Let's get under the pec right here. Showing it that respect. We also have to manipulate the fabric lines. Right there. Look at those abs. Very subtle details, but they are there. You see, this real estate is much darker, so we're having less impact, but we're being real safe. We're going to have to definitely infuse black in at a later step once we build this respect. Master Blaster. This is the next level painting way right here. This type of pin washing, this is how we do it. I teach this in my classes. All about respect. Mitigate the fail rate. Everybody is used to just grabbing a wash and then just jamming that wash in there, but there is no respect. And so we're just going to use mostly heart pull, just tip. You can be a little fast and loose at this step if you want to be, because it is so respectful. Let's get under that jacked fucking tricep. Look at that shit. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Just that dark blue. Now here, I'm not going to get a lot of impact here, but we're going to get under that bicep right there. Up against that glove. There's a bit of a fabric fold right here. A stretching seam right there. Let's rotate up here. Let's use a little heart pull stipple. Let's rotate back this way. Let's get where that delt meets bicep and tricep right here. Get that forearm connector. Looking good. Pow, son. Every now and then I'm just going to rinse the brush and reset. That dark blue. A little bit of water, semi-opaque, just a little wet. Let's keep moving around. He's got some action on the back right here. Right under the white bullseye pattern. It's got some fabric stretchies. Using the heart pull. Right under the butt right here. Shout out to Master Blaster gifting 5 subs to the chat. If you just got gifted a sub from Master Blaster, you know who to thank. Also, 500 bonus Yo Dogs to Master Blaster. Thank you so much, homie. Kind of slipped a little bit right there. That's okay. He's got some uniform pleat lines like right here on his helmet. Rotate, look for that heart pull. So that's wave one. Now the cool thing about doing this before you do any highlighting is because if you kind of get a little ambitious here, you can erase it with the highlight step. So now we need to get a little bit darker, right? Because that's our safe approach. So this respected that. Well, we can make a darker version of this using some transparent black that respects this. So we're just kind of onboarding that respect. So this is not quite black, obviously, but it is darker and approaching black. So we can use this to go a step further and get those real hard comic book lines. We're going to be careful using the tip of our brush, light brush pressure, rotate, flip, find the new angle, using straight lines back to your heart. Now we want to get one right under the strap right here. Separate it and lift it. Now we're going to move back into the chest, and this is, we want to be careful here, right? This is where it was already really dark, so now the real magic will start happening here. Get right up under the pecs. He's got lots of intriguing fabric stretch marks from like his posture, which I think is really well done. He's got a bunch of obliques that you can see in here too. Now I'm gonna just kind of get more black, like mostly black now, and kind of finish the action up here, because you know this is right up under his chest is where we're getting a lot of our drama, and so it's an important part of the model. So let's get almost pure black. Looking for those heart pulls. Really try to define those abs now. As they move into his super jacked ribs, that oblique range. Just trying to generate that real solid black lining. Like I said, if you ever go a little too hard, it's okay. You still have an edge highlight step. Like getting up here is kind of tricky because of the fabric line. So, a little stipple right there. Now, erase any element of that line I don't like in the edge highlight step. Let's jump back down here. Or basically our pure black. Moving into disrespectful territory, but we have established enough of a runway. He's starting to get real swole. Okay, let's get right here where his delt connects. Bicep. Okay, right between his glove and his arm there. His jacked tricep. Our dude is fucking swole. Too much black too soon right there. I'll have to work that out with an edge highlight. The eraser step. Like I said, it's built in. Mistakes are built in. It's all good. Talon, do you think Colin Farrell was a good Bullseye? Yeah, I thought he was cool. He made Bullseye cool. Like, at least, like, cool in my opinion. Now, rinsing some of that off the brush. Let's pick up a little bit more transparent black. There's literally no blue on my brush now. Just kind of going a little bit harder right there in the abs. JBZ, yes, Marvel Crisis, homie. Now let's get a little bit more respect. Let's go back in time a little bit. Some of that dark blue we made. Semi-opaque and a little wet. And there's a fabric fold right here. Just trying to acknowledge them. Keeping him relatively dark. His pose is really easy to airbrush too. So let's see, with some basic edge highlighting, so let's flip the script now. Let's go to more about opacity. So this is our darkest blue. Then we airbrush probably some of this in there. Got a highlight going. Brought some of this in there. And we live in this spectrum, right, on this model. So I want to respect his leg right now. So I'll probably move down to here. A little flow improver on my brush. Take the moisture off, and I should be able to just top highlight this quadricep. With a little respect. So we don't want it to be too crazy too soon. And I'm just using my eyes to make adjustments. Just the tip of the brush. Top shelf highlights. Here. And this first round has got to be respectful. This is where all the mistakes can happen. Mostly heart pull strategy. Top of that knee's a little brighter, so I'm making the adjustment. And we're just gonna slowly jactify this guy. Now, we'll finish the legs real quick, just because we already are here. So let's get a little brighter. This mix got real wet. That's not typically what I want, so I'll dry the brush off. Gotta get a new pile going. Get a little flow improver over here. I should be able to pop in a new highlight. Just try to get in there tight. Walk it back. Like so. I'm gonna go a little bit back to our old spectrum real quick and just kind of get a bit more respect going here before I do this one. A little bead of water right there. So this is a little bit darker and wetter. We're going to use the glaze edit strategy by introducing some moisture to the mix. Lower the opacity and kind of blur that line a little bit. Now let's get back to this top quad right here. Get those fabric folds. Kind of get the top of the calf right there. Let's rotate. Let's get the fabric folds right here. Let's move it to the other side. Utilizing some respect. Get swole. Rotate. Get the top of this calf. Now, let's get a little bit brighter. A little more dry and opaque. Maybe not so much brighter. Using my eyes, let's just hit these fabrics. Swole. Now on the back, let's just finish. Let's get our respect going again. And you can be a little bit translucent as long as you take the excess moisture off. So I lowered the opacity just a little bit here, because respect can be established by value matching like we've been doing, or lowering the opacity a little bit. So I did both. Things are a little softer back here on the hamstring, so now let's blur the thickness of that line right there by going back to our dark blue, lowering the opacity with water. Take some of that water off. Just kind of glaze it into that real estate to establish a bit of a filter there to soften the aggressiveness of that line. Let it dry for a second. Maybe move up in our value scale a little bit. Stealing from this puddle right here. Take some of that moisture off the brush. While it's still just a little wet, I'll run in with the darker blue right here and just kind of finish softening the line. That line got a little fat, but we can always edit them. Let's go back up here to our brighter mix up here. And let's just do some cling, 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 ping, ping. Like right there. Can just get some nice kind of gleaming, shiny we're not redoing it, we'll just add into it. I'll even go up a step further. I'll grab some white, put a little white on my brush, high opacity, low moisture, maybe just a tiny little stipple here. See? And we're just getting those nice, like, click, 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 cling. Now, if they ever get a little aggressive, which they oftentimes do, Demeki knows. He's coming in for 18 months. That's my boy right here. He was on the podcast last night. You don't know anyone named Johnny Hopkins. It was Johnny Hopkins and Sloan Kettering. And they were blazing that shit up every day. Demeki. So what we'll do is we'll go back in time, because this is, right, and respect this highlight by stealing some of our original puddle. Right? We're going to keep it relatively bright, but darker than this highlight. Lower the opacity with some water. Take some of that moisture right off. And we'll use that to smooth out. Oop, more tip than that. The abruptness of that white. And it's low opacity, so it just kind of absorbs into the real estate. And we'll create a nice dissolved blurred effect. So I find on the marble models, because they have such fine little details, you need to kind of you need to dig into our 201 curriculum a little bit more. Even though we're doing all these edge highlights and stuff, which are all 101, you need to use some of the 201 glazing knowledge. And if you're looking for perfect lines, just use your eyes, right? Like right here, I want that line to get a little bit thinner. So we know that this was how we started, this dark blue. Probably snuck some of that in. So I'm finding kind of the mid-ground. Gonna add some water. Lower the opacity right here. Right? You could even use your paper towel, take a little of that moisture off. And we're gonna just walk this right in. And it should kind of send it to the background up here and give us a nice taper. Let it dry before you try to hit it again. And now I'm getting like a nice vanishing point. So I'm kind of, not only am I getting skinny lines, I'm controlling the line shape, which I love. Let's just get these fabric folds right here. Toby, what's up, brother? Tip of the brush, high opacity, low moisture. Let's get right there in the crotchal region. Pow! My man is fucking not skipping leg day. Look how jacked he is. Now, this looks tedious. It is. This looks hard. It is not. I would say it's a little bit more challenging than a GW model, but ultimately, if you're utilizing the techniques that I'm preaching here, it's just tedious. It's not hard. And he's those legs when he runs from Daredevil. That's right, baby. Now, let's get up to the chest. This should be fun. I always love doing the chest. So what we need is a nice, like, bottom of pec line. So again, you see it's much darker down there in that real estate. So we're going to use our eyes and engage. Find something that respects that. So it's going to start with the dark blue again. And we're going to sneak in some of our highlight blues until we feel like it's brighter and respectful. Just use your eyes, trust in it. Kind of want it to stop right as you're, like the feeling is like, yeah, that's brighter. So I should be able to just draw a nice comic book line right here. Right there. Very respectful. Now I'm instantly going to pivot to more highlight. and do it again. Yeah, but now I have a ghost line to kind of follow the path of. Right? And the line keeps getting easier and easier to see and follow. So now I'm going to jump in, get a little brighter. Maybe jump a respect stop. Right there. Dogcat Jones. That's my dude right there. Now, there's a lot going on here, so we're going to do our best. Top highlight right here. Rotate. Right there. Right there. These are respectful. High opacity, low moisture. Rotate. Look for that straight pullback. Let's get inside the abs, inner highlight right here. Some nice ghost lines. Really start to make the model HD. Now, as we move up deeper into his chest, where our zenithal highlighting took hold, we're gonna have to get a little brighter. Use your eyes. Remember, the objective is bright stuff brighter, so you can't just keep using the same mix when you're changing into a new transition zone. So we got to be a little brighter up here. It's not one highlight to rule them all. Never works that way. I think we kind of just have to skip we have to pretend that fabric line doesn't exist. And we'll have to go back and kind of reestablish it. I think that's the only real way to do it. You want to make sure you got a top shelf highlight right here. Here. Got some good framework now, okay? Let's get a little bit more highlight going right on top of the fabric fold right here. But I'll probably attack them later. So let's pop it out. Let's get a lot brighter. Let's try to stay opaque. And let's focus down here. Make sure that we don't have any excess moisture. And let's get this top shelf going. These are small, so use your eyes. Use the extreme tip of your brush. Change the angle if you have to. If you're fighting it, stop. Sometimes you can re-wick the brush with a little bit of flow improver to help the dry time, because when you're using the extreme tip of your brush like that, the paint dries real quick up there. So sometimes I'll just kind of lubricate the bristles a little bit. I'm not trying to water the paint down though. Be careful. Reload. Have the battle on the palette, not on the model. And see, we're aiming at the tops of all the muscle groups. We're not tracing them because that won't help us with the three-dimensionality. Tracing them would help with contrast, but it would kind of hit that uncanny valley effect. See, just with one pass, look at the HDness. Like, he's not this jacked, okay? All those muscles are fucking there. But by using correct placement of our shadows in our highlights in this extreme position, we are basically using a sharpen filter in Photoshop and the contrast slider. Dogcat Jones, like a jackass, he used that quick set spray to help attach the throne to the base, just to hold it while the main glue area is dry, but the spray interacted with my water effects and got totally fucked up. You sprayed it on there? I never spray that shit. Literally, I will pour some out in a cap and use a shit paintbrush to do that. If you're doing like a spot weld, don't spray it. Lesson learned, baby. Let it sting. Let it burn. Okay, let's move up. Ignore that fabric. Okay, let's get a little bit brighter. Let's move up with some of that pale blue. Maybe a touch of the sky blue in the mix. High opacity, low moisture. If you get a little bit where you shouldn't, like right there, don't worry. We can go back to the pin wash and work it out. I'm going to go back in time and get a little bit more respect built in right here because there's a spot right here. Should get that right there. Shout out right there to Dan the Man. Nice. Let's use the tip of our brush, get this fabric line right here. Let's reestablish that one. I'm going to go one step further. Also, let me turn the lights away so we can get them down to more natural. Or like this. So we're going to sneak some white in, okay? This is where it gets risky. Okay? But we can fix our mistakes as I've shown you. So we want to be a little on the crazy side now. High opacity, low moisture. Let's just almost sewing machine stroke only. You want extreme angles. Don't battle it. Reload the brush every time you feel like it's starting to fight you. Occasionally wick the brush with flow improver to slow the dry time down. I feel like that's pretty good. Okay, let's do a little repair work. We're gonna go back to the transparent black. And we're gonna use that to open up these pockets again that I may have fucked up. Some fabric lines right there. Kind of connect that. Now, there's a spot up here I didn't get yet. Let's get a little bit more respect. Let's get a little bit dark blue in the mix. Semi-opaque and a little wet. Let's see if we can get right between the bullseye pattern and the chest. A little shadow right there. Professor Swolstein over here. And blue is an easy color to generate because blue lets you just go from almost black to almost white, where red doesn't. Red, it's not red anymore, right? So Daredevil, because his uniform is more pleated, has more angles, it has more padding and stuff, it's less like rubber suit. He's got so much line work because there's almost no gradient capable, like, as we're trying to keep him in this one place. He's more like wearing a rubber suit almost, right? And he doesn't have all these like pleats and like pouches and shit like built in and stuff like that. You don't see these seams. It's like he puts on one big gimp suit. Now let's move over here to this deltoid right here. So we need some respect. Let's get the dark blue. Turn some lights back on here so you can see. Dark blue, sky blue, pale blue, right? So this is not fully opaque. It's a little safer when it's like this. Just trying to get that deltoid right there. Kind of bordered off. Get a little bit more of the pale blue. Right there. A little bit more. More opacity. Less moisture. Now down here, fabric, bicep, bicep's really in shadow. Might have to touch that up. Let's get a little brighter. Let's get this triceps sectioned off right here. Let's get this little forearm stabilizer right here. What the fuck this muscle's called? elbow. Pling, 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 pling. Manus swallow. Let's take a quick second to go back to the dark blue. Lower the opacity with some water. Take some of the water off. Kind of just curate that line a little bit. Okay, let's get brighter. Let's get some of that pale blue. Just touch it. Just touch it right there. Get those fabric lines. I'm gonna tone down this line a little bit. And let's get deep into that bicep and real gently. Now that's tricky. It's kind of tricky to get that top shine because of the way the fabric fold leans right over it. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. Rinse it down. Yo, it's my boy Dogcat Jones. Dogcat Jones, 46 boners, yo dogs. But now I'm gonna go back to the black Dogcat Jones and put a line right under this fabric. Those fabric folds are just goddamn nightmare. And now I'm going to see if I can just gently reestablish it right here, Dogcat. Whew. Let's grab a little white, put some in our pale blue Dogcat Jones. Let me get some strong man love in the chat from my boy Dogcat Jones. Let's just put a little bling right there. With almost pure white. Just a little pale blue in the mix. Core Mechanical in chat. What's up, brother? Dragon, thank you for the bits, homie. I feel like I need to do a little bit more on this piece right here. And you see, these are not three-dimensional scratches. A lot of times we're doing those. These are above them. These are not, you know, a scratch. They are literal fabric on top. So highlight on the top. Nope. Don't fight it. It wasn't deploying. That means I didn't have my tip loaded correct. There we go. That's a little bit better. Jacoby 666. What's up, man? My man Core Mechanical got a lurk and jerk for a bit. Understood, homie. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Tiny dog alert. Wonder what that is. Hold on, let me open up a... Just get yelled at. Tiny dog alert. Okay. Do you use airbrush to prime or rattle can Scottish painter? I use both, depending on my mood. I honestly prefer the rattle can. Okay, so we got to get this bicep right here. So let's get some respect built, right? Gonna get our 3 blues together. Sneak in right here. Really lock in my grip. Using the heart pull strategy right there. Rotate down. Let's get a nice little shine line, kind of a fake highlight right there. He doesn't have a lot of real highlightable stuff right there, so we're just gonna have to take it easy. Now I disrespected that just a little bit, so I'm gonna go back in time to a little bit darker blue. Lower the opacity a little bit. Some water. Remember, guys, if you're new here, you want to at me. Swampy Turtle Jedi. Hey, Kenny, is there a trick to painting an oily skin like a reptile? And glossy? Could just use gloss varnish when you're done, if you wanted to. If the trick is, if the intent is to make it look shiny, yeah, there's ways to do that without making it actually shiny. So I just used our filtering strategy right there to like tone those lines down. So now we're going to try to pop that edge. So let's go up a little brighter, up into our pale blue mix. High opacity, low moisture. Want to get this kind of fake shine right here. Let's get a little bit, let's just pluck a little bit right here. Now he's got a lot like that. The money shot on this bicep is from this direction. So we want a line right here. 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 Right there. Might need to tone this down again based on the viewing angle. I feel like I need to send some dark blue back in here as a filter. I'll just knock that down. Let's get something a little brighter. Just be careful. I want to just get like a little clean edge right here. Now back to this side. This is the money shot again, like I said. So we can get a little brighter now. Okay, so what we need to do is, I think we need to cut the bicep out a little bit better. I think I'm seeing at least the issue I'm having with it. We gotta make it have a more defined shape. And then we need to re-embed some black. Kind of right here. Just gotta separate it. Let's grab some kind of middle of the road blue mix. Maybe a little darker. Rebuild these right there. Cajun in chat, what's up? What's up, Cajun? I think I shipped you a package the other day. Okay, now let's recurate those new lines by grabbing some dark blue, some sky blue, plenty of water. Take some of that water off the brush. And I'm going to just kind of soften our highlight there. And sending this filter right over the top. It's going to help me reshape it to really cut in that bicep. Grab some highlight again. It's still there, it's just harder to see. Get that split, that bicep split right there. Get that downstroke. This is the angle I think I'm struggling with the most. It's right here. I think we have to kind of invent it. This is what I think we have to do. I think we have to kind of like reinvent a bicep cutout here. Like right there. So we have to like kind of cheat it a little bit. So from this viewing angle, it's a little bit more jacked. Sometimes that gets a little, sometimes it gets tricky. Because the way the bicep is connecting to his tricep doesn't actually make sense. So I need to kind of just modify it with some black here. See right there, I'm just kind of redefining it. There we go. So now we have that perfect kind of oval. That's what we needed. That's what was bothering me with that. His anatomy was a little off. A little bit like a machine. Okay, let's try a little flow improver on the bristles. Let's pick up some of that pale blue again. Let's see if we can just pop some of this out. Right there. No, don't fight it there. Don't battle it on the model. Battle it on your palette. Right there. A little stipple right here. That's what I'm looking for. Ow! It just took a little bit of work. We got it. Let's get a little bit of white. No. Getting some dry tip. Want a nice clean line right here. 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 And the back is fine. The back has all the stuff we need. My man is jacked, son. Now, I probably will reinforce the black in some of these, but think in some of these like darker recesses, I may go a little blacker. But I'm pretty happy with that. So we have about an hour and a half left in the show. We still got to do his back of the arm, back of the hamstrings, some of the helmet. We're basically getting close to 99% complete. Action. Templar, you met John Cena one time? I did not know that. That's very cool. So let's get this jacked tricep kind of curated. So what we need to do Again, as always, let's get our respect established. Let's get our dark blue, our middle blue. Get a nice smidgen of the old pale blue. So I'm going to run these first lines not as opaque, but also not moist. I took some of the moisture off. So what we need to do is get that bottom shelf right here. So let's get extreme tip. Right there. So where the tricep bulges out, we want to get that top shelf highlight right there. Right here where the forearm connects, let's rotate, get a little bit of a straight line, link the hands together. Top of that. Now his elbow is fun. Rotate for our heart pull right there. Let's pick up a little bit more paint. Rotate back this way. Get that teardrop. Get a little bit more light for you guys. Ooh, my pants ruined. So let's connect. These lines right here while keeping that shadow we embedded in place. Get that contrast. That's that muscle separator. Okay, let's elevate. Let's get more of the pale blue. Mix it in with our mix to get that respect. Let's look for the best angle of approach here. Right there. Using the heart pull. Locking the old fingers together. Get this fucking out of the way. It's blinding me. Don't battle it on the model. Reload the brush if it doesn't flow. Tops of things. Oh, my fucking neck. I think I broke my back when I sneezed. Oh my god. Dark Comedy says, got the YouTube tutorial. Cheers for that, man. Thanks, dog. Derpaton. Derpayton. Thanks, brother. First time chatter. Welcome to the show. More pigment. That's why you wear your brown pants. That's right, man. Let's get some more of that pale blue. I'll just put a little flow improver in the tip. Let's run in here on this elbow. Tip of the brush, pull straight back. Rotate. Heart pull strategy deployed. Reload the brush. Don't battle on the model, battle on the palette. Right there. Reload, get a little bit more flow improver to help slow the dry time down. I want to get a nice clean line right here. Run it back to that super jack tricep. Reload. Don't battle on the model. And like I said, a lot of the times it wants to really just dry so fast on the tip. So sometimes you need to just get a little bit pre-mixed, which is something I try to avoid, but that just means you need to mitigate the moisture best you can. That's not my best line. I'll be the first to admit it. Now he's got a little bit of a... Let's see here. Yeah, we need to probably re-embed a little bit of black line. But he does have a couple of fabric folds. So let's go down and let's get a little bit more respectful here and let's see if we can get those fabric lines. Now we do need to kind of recurate the thickness of my tricep jackness there. I'll have to come back to that in a second. NS Ogre in chat. What's up, NS Ogre? Reapray. Thank you, man. Let's see if we can get a little line right here. Here. Now we're going to go back in time, right? Just use your eyes. Grab some of the dark blue. Look at the real estate that surrounds your highlight. Lower the opacity a little bit. Some water. We know it's all of these blues, so just some combination of those blues to make it appropriate. We're just going to feather this right up against where that highlight meets the muscle belly and just kind of temper it, blur it down. Because that line did get away from me. Now there is a muscle striation right here. It's very faint, but it is there. See if I can get a ghost highlight going. See? It probably just popped out a little bit on camera. Now, he's got a bowling ball for a shoulder. I feel like I have to try to highlight down here. I mean, that guy has got genetics, bro. Guy could be a bodybuilder for sure. Just try to get that striation going right there. I think there's actually a ghostly striation right here too. It's faint, but it's there. So we're gonna build it up real respectfully. With our highlight blues, lower the opacity. Right there. Real subtle. Dark Comedy, great show as ever, man. Gotta run. Good night, brother. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Let's go to some white and some of that pale blue. Like we do. Let's see if we can put a little cling, ping, ping, ping right here. Where the light might catch the shininess of his suit. Maybe even a little right here where his bowling ball fucking delts. Just sliced. Let's take a quick second to run it back to transparent black. And I'm going to just reinforce some of our... Ooh, is that a fucking just hair? Wily ass hair hanging off the side of the model? I get it? Got it. I did not get it. Just want to blackify some of those lines. That's good. Now back here, this should be pretty simple. Let's rinse some of that off the brush. Let's get a little respectful highlighting going here. With how jacked he is, my man does not work his back out the same way. He does not give a shit about his back. Let's get this hamstring action right here. A little under the butt. Slice the calf. Now let's go to the headgear. Now occasionally I've been referencing the box and I lose the box constantly. There it is. And I actually like the way they painted theirs a lot. Just want to kind of look at it for a second. Okay. Is theirs not smiling? Is this a different face? Oh, he is. It's just terrible. Okay, so we're going to have to get some highlights going. Let's get some respect lines first. Okay, let's just build up a nice mix. And there's not these are all going to be small adjustments to try to generate some contrast. Okay. So we got the cheek right here. Nose. Frame. Ear. We're just trying to create some borders, okay? Not nothing too crazy just yet. These are just the natural peaks and valleys of the face. And I think he has like a chin strap. Yeah. The neck. Just gotta get those obvious spots. Tarma Cheese, what's up, brother? Shout out to my man NS Ogre, the true gangster.
Shut the fuck up about Moon Men.
Can I get some strong man love in the chat for NS Ogre? Shut the fuck up about Moon Men. How's it going, NS Ogre? Monkey Snacks, what's up, brother? Clean. That's right, man. It's a comic book character. Gotta make it sick. Okay, we're gonna use high opacity. Some moisture to kind of just get this rail right here. We're using a modified tracer technique right there. We're going to pivot back to the heart pull. Like that. Just using some version of the blues that we airbrushed initially. Little heart pull right there. He's got some folds in the fabric right here. Let's get a little bit more respectful by going back to the dark blue. NS Ogre with a 5x multiplier, 115 bonus jet ox to my boy NS Ogre. NS Ogre, check this out. Just some heart pulls right here. Still 39 minutes left in the show. Monkey Snacks, thanks for the follow. Marty Mar, legend, 52 months back to back. Let me get some hype in the chat right there. NS Ogre says, still kicking. How you holding up? Same, brother. I function. NS Ogre, thank you for your support. I'm going to grab a little bit more of our pale blue. And let the dirty paint water, the brush, just mix with it. And we're going to try to use extreme tip. And really just kind of pop out some of those features. High opacity, low moisture. We're going to go a little further than that. Some pale blue. Again, just some dirty paint water on the brush still. Just get a little bit of that seam line on his helmet. We're going to throw a little white in the mix. Slice it in. Let's move back to his neck. Let's go back in time a little bit. Heart pull strategy. Decent amount of moisture just for flow, but I'm using very light brush pressure to get that going. Let's rinse the brush. Get some of that paint off of it. Pick up some of that white and that pale blue. Okay. And let's just add some ping ping. Just get some of that gleam. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Major Braun, what's up, brother? Kapla. And this ogre says, damn, that dude's clean as fuck. Thanks, brother. Trying. Okay. Now, we'll see how the face goes because these faces are, you know, very low detail as well. So, he's a white guy. He appears to be a whitey. So let's, I don't know. Here's some transparent red. Skin's easy. So we'll start off with just some of this, it's already dark blue, his skin. So I'll just mix some transparent red in there. A little bit of white. Get this like purple going right here, okay? It respects the base. Pretty much everything's skin, doesn't matter. There's not much there, so you don't have to do a whole lot, okay? He's got teeth. That's awesome. So we'll probably have to cut the teeth in before we go much further, or it's going to be a pain in the dick to go back in time. So I'm going to let that dry for a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach in with some white. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to try to just draw his teeth. And it's okay because it's probably going to get out all over his lips. And look insane. That's fine because I'll paint back over it. The other thing I'm going to do is just carefully put some white in his eyes. So I'm going to see if I can sneak in there. And get the eye cavity white. That one got a little away from me, but that's why I just said, hey, I got to do it now. Because if I have to clean it up, I need to clean it up after I put the white in. These eyes are much smaller than like a Space Marine's eyes. So let's grab some of our dark blue. And reshape that eye. There we go. I think I can do a better job on that eye, actually. Diego Mar, what's up, brother? Let me get a little bit more white. Trying to keep it higher opacity, lower moisture. Okay, so we got white pupils. We threw a little white in where his teeth should be. Okay, and now we're gonna paint out the mistakes. Okay, so let that cure for a second. Recoil 3996. That's my boy right there. Coming in. What is that? Is it a 6? 6. That is 138 bonus hit to my boy Recoil. Can I get some strong man love in there? With a 6x multiplier. 138 Recoil. Check it out. So, like I said, like I was saying, like almost everything is skin colors. Like you'd be shocked by how we like the guy is blue. We just threw some of this in there. Threw some of this in there. Okay, I'll throw some yellow in there. Some more white. Some more red. And I can kind of walk my way to a respectable skin position. Kind of using all these colors that are already on my palette. So I'm going to start here now. But you see, this is chemically made up of this, of the color it's already there. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of carefully touch things. Already made a little mistake there. Got some on his blue. I always knew it was a risk. As long as I don't get it on his teeth. See, now his smile is fine. It's already, you already buy it, you know? So now we can take a little bit of white. And look, it's, oh my God, it's already almost elf flesh. Look at that. Oh no! Pimp down. So we're just, it was blue, transparent red, yellow, and white. And we got all the way up to just skin. Just a pretty standard skin tone. Okay, now I'm going to be careful here. More of a sewing machine action. keeping those bold lines. But remember, he was airbrushed dark blue. So like all the way down at the core of these shadows inside of his skin is just the initial dark blue that we embedded in the red. Then we just built up after it. So I kind of like through negative space preserved some of the dark lines without having to just paint its skin and then try to wash something that's a fucking smaller than a fucking tip of a paintbrush. So now we've got some actual definition in his face, in his skin. Right, and the mistake would have been to just try to like raw dog it all like a pot of skin tone, and then try to re-embed the shadows. With something that's that small, it was like 3 brush strokes, like dot, dot, dot. And I may go 1 dot higher with just another dot of white in the mix. See, I didn't even really notice he had a menacing grin when we were painting him because I was just going off of the box art. And you see how they utterly dropped the ball. See, they kind of did what I said not to do. They like obviously painted his face flesh and then try to like re-embed stuff around it. This dude has no menace. He's a straight bitch ass. Right? And our dude is chock full of menace. Like, our dude is fucking maniacal. Right? Total bitch assery. This guy's actually scary. You know what I'm saying? Our dude's menacing. And I do like the way they painted him. I think they did a good job on both these guys of trying to preserve the hard lines of a comic book. Right? But I don't think they got their lines curated enough, you know? Like, the painters did a great job. It's just... And I think that it's probably deliberate, honestly. Like, because in my opinion, if you think that Marvel Crisis Protocol is probably a crossroad board game, right? It crosses the road between board games and miniatures. So you have to assume that some large percentage of the demographic that they're marketing to have almost no experience painting models. So, in my opinion, if you hit them with this on the box art, right up the gate, I think they're going to be like, a brand new person is going to be like, fuck this. Like, they're going to paint theirs and it's going to be so different than this line control. But you guys as miniature painters are like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do this. Right? But I almost feel like it's deliberately a little like at that grade. So that you're, as a beginner, your shit's not going to be like so different. It's almost like their box art is like 3 stops ago on ours. You know what I mean? Like when we kept popping it, it's almost like it's softening it, and redefining it. It's like they just like kind of stopped at step 3. You know? Now, I don't think Bullseye has any color to his eyes. I think he's just classic white pupils. You know, like in the comic book world. I don't think he has anything else going on. Let's make sure to rebuild. Demeki says, bro, you need to send him a pic of that. Oh, I send him pics of everything I paint. I sent him a pic of my Thanos, Demeki, to Atomic Mass didn't care. I was like, bro, my Thanos is like the best Thanos on the internet, bro. Let's talk. Let's get a promo going. A little repair work where I got some skin there. redefine some of these lines. And just a respectful highlight. Let's get a little bit more of our pale blue. Now that looks good. Kind of like where I'm at with this. This eye could be a little better though. Let's rinse the brush. Let's get a little bit of our transparent black, okay? And I want to see if I can get inside this eye. This is tricky. I'm putting a little comic book eyeliner in there. Now there's a couple places we can enhance our black lines still. So let's get a little bit more transparent black. Right here. We're just reinforcing the hard shadows. We need to get a little bit around his bullseye and his helmet and his head too. Got a little on the surface. Kind of lift the bullseye off his head a little bit. And kind of anywhere the white meets the blue, we should make sure there's a nice line, a shadow there. Let's repair the bullseye. Go back to white. I'm actually going to squirt just a fresh dollop of titanium white on the wet palette just so it's a little bit more raw dog. So there's some pure white. Gotta repair that. And I'll use this to go through and add like kind of one more super opaque white line to things. Because we never really maxed out the white. Fuck that lineup. Trying to get a little highlight on the front here. Cut it down the shin bone. A little bit more opacity. Get a little bit on the boots. You can see it's just a little whiter. Because we didn't quite get the boots all the way done last time. So, you know, we just got to run a little bit more opacity down them. Because white. Still a little on the gray side. Now, there's a weird shadow in here, and we actually made the gray with the same blue we airbrushed. So we got to kind of whiten up a gray real quick. And we got to see in there, the shadow is this kind of shitty right here. And we got to soften that. The glaze. Kind of one pass. And we use this same technique to get the muscles built in to the white. But also we use the same pin wash strategy we had been using to make sure the rings are intact. You see, they on the box art they left these rings kind of soft, and we made sure that they're pretty aggressive. And that's one of the harder parts of the paint job, in my opinion. Was keeping those rings so aggressive. Let's run it back with our soft gray again. Take some of that moisture off. Low opacity and remove some of the excess moisture. Just kind of blur that shadow out. Okay, one last thing though. Honestly, we got to get these blades. Never painted these blades, so we got to do a quick little blur on these. And we only got about 12 minutes left. Let's see if we can get these little daggers done real quick. And I should be able to get them done pretty quick. Got some black, got some white. So let's just run a quick diagonal heart pull like this. Okay. Real basic. That was just black mixed with white. We're going to put more black into that mix. It's just right here. So just reintroduce the black. And let's just work that line. Let's get more black. Like that. Let's get less black. Let's get more white. Like that. Let's get less white. So we just did a quick little blend. Nothing too crazy. They're a very small accessory on the guy. So what we want to do is take some of our straight up white. Let's see if we can do a quick tracer right here. We'll use the flat of our brush to just trace along this edge. I can repair that line. That line got kind of shitty. Let's rotate. Let's do a heart pull right here. Flip it over. Tracer. Right there. Let's do a little heart pull right here. A little bit more gleaming white right here. There are some tiny little nuts on this thing. Like right there. Super easy. 8.5 minutes left. Let's soften some of this by going back in time to our gray. There you go. Got a couple of daggers getting ready to get thrown at you. Let's rinse it off. Let's grab a little bit more transparent black. Let's put a hard edge right here. Separate the two. Heart pull. There you go. Couple of daggers. See some of this highlight game right here. On the gun handle, the grip, just kind of poking out. Pow! Dagger time. There we go, man. We got the whole body of this model done easily within 3 hours of painting, or less than 4, more than 3. So that's kind of like the, my complaint, my other complaint with the box art. Not that, like I said, no disrespect to that artist. It looks great. And anybody using like speed painting tricks on Marvel Crisis Protocol models, I'm like, well, I feel like we can get a result like this 4 hours. And is 4 hours even that long? Like, is that too long to paint a model for? Because I feel like it's pretty good.